as we grow and change, so does the way we love. Not just the physical act of making love, but also the spiritual nature and the meaning of love. Whether we are basking in the aftermath of physical love or experience an emotional breakdown due to a breakup, the reality that love is always present has the potential to elevate us into a state of happiness. When we can transcend the reality of the material world, the roses, the valentines, the baseball cards, the jewelry, and even the shoes, the reality that love is always present resonates in the peacefulness that is that love. And when that happens, we can transform the world around us. So what I'm talking about is love as a state of consciousness that flows throughout us and throughout all of life. Love that transcends any concept of the word from a human viewpoint. Love that lets your heart remain wide open, like Jami Lulo just sang about, no matter what the world reveals to us. Whenever I hear a siren, I immediately go into prayer, acknowledging that all the right people are in the right places at the right time to support whatever is happening in that moment as a result of the sirens or the flashing lights. So this is about looking beyond the material world, beyond the third dimensional experience, to the beautiful expression of the Great Spirit that is always evolving at all times within everyone and everything. Seeing the world through our spiritual eye rather than the physical eyes, and understanding the truth that underlies every appearance. Only spiritual discernment can reveal who we really are as spiritual beings, not the human mind or the aspects of the physical world, but a recognition of the true identity that lies beneath everyone we meet. When we love, it flows naturally, and our wholeness is revealed. And Joel Goldsmith says in A Gift of Love that we enter into the sanctuary of our own being, and there in silence and secrecy behold the true identity of friend or foe. We all want to be understood, and we all want to understand. But rarely do we see what we truly are as children of the Most High, as love expressing from a depth of conscious awareness. And judgment of friend or foe is part of the material world, looking through a third dimensional reality, rather than revealing the true nature that lies beneath each of us. I want to know what it's like to love without end. Not a sentimental or emotional kind of love, but a love that represents the givingness of the Great Spirit. If I am criticizing or condemning or judging, my emotions are in play, and that has nothing to do with true love. When I can recognize the good within everyone and everything, and love my fellow man as I love myself, then I can hold them in the light of love. So I believe that falling in love, or the idea of falling in love, feels like, to me, a sense of separation, like we're falling away from something, living outside of the spiritual world, where recognition, gratitude, and reward become a kind of human trade. You do this, and I'll do that. Failing to recognize the infinite nature of our beingness and focusing upon things like control or bribery or judgment. On the other hand, rising in love means to me a sense of unity as the ultimate goal of life, an interconnectedness amongst everything, forming deep and lasting relationships, living life as one, practicing the ideas of evolution, ascension, and ultimately unity with the divine. Goldsmith says that love can be summed up as that feeling or emotion that operates without any desire or expectancy of a return. So love cannot come to us because love is within us. And understanding this idea of truth is very important. We're talking about a love that unifies us with our fellow man and also with the Great Spirit. An eternal, lasting relationship of oneness, peace, power, wisdom, joy, and light. When we can look upon one another in the light of love, we will see that love reflected right back at us. And that makes it impossible for us to cheat or lie or betray anyone. Only in the absence of love that arguments have to be settled. And that's what I call falling in love. Love, wisdom, guidance, gratitude all come from the Great Spirit. And when we remain consciously aware of this truth, we enter into a heightened state of spiritual awareness. And that's when we experience rising in love. That is when Spirit is working in, as, and through each of us. Joel Goldsmith says that love is the ability of the Christ in me to recognize and bear witness to the Christ in you. And Christ, of course, comes from the Latin Christos, which means the light. So in a relationship that is based upon spirituality, there is freedom. Both partners are able to lead their individual lives, and it's also okay for them to share their experiences together. So we enter into a relationship where two or more become one in the eyes of the divine. With a deeper realization of the presence of the Great Spirit, greater spiritual discernment is achieved, and the capacity to judge or experience hatred or envy or any of those negative thought patterns falls away. Joel says that it is only when we are in the highest state of spiritual being that we come face to face with that which is truly God. And I'd like to just share this story with you. This is an eyewitness account from New York City on a cold day in December. Some years ago, a little boy about 10 years old was standing before a shoe store on the roadway, barefooted, peering through the window and shivering with cold. A lady approached the young boy and said, "My, but you're in such deep thought staring in that window." "I was asking God to give me a pair of shoes," was the boy's reply. The lady took him by the hand, went into the store, and asked the clerk to get 6 pairs of socks for the boy. She then asked if he could bring her a basin of water and a towel. The sales clerk quickly brought them to her. She took the little boy to the back part of the store, and removing her gloves, knelt down, washed his little feet, and dried them with the towel. By this time the clerk had returned with the socks. Placing a pair upon the boy's feet, she purchased him a pair of shoes. She tied up the remaining pairs of socks and gave them to him. She patted him on the head and said, "No doubt you will be more comfortable now." As she turned to go, the astonished kid caught her by the hand and, looking up into her face with tears in his eyes, asked her, "Are you God's wife?" We are the portals through which the divine outpictures itself. It's up to us to open the window so that the light of love can enter into our experience. Keeping love fulfilling, harmonious, and alive is about finding at the center of every human being that which is truly the source of their happiness. Every morning, as part of my spiritual practice, I renew my oral contract to serve all who enter into my energy field to the highest and best of my ability. I am who I am because of who we all are. When we can look someone in the eyes knowing that we can trust them, that vision becomes trust for us as well. So rising in love is about outpicturing what is important. It is about love as the healing, motivating power of the universe. It is about love as the self-givingness of the Spirit. It is about a love that is the desire of Spirit to express itself in terms of creation. Love that is free from anger. Love that is a cosmic force whose sweep is irresistible. It is always with ourselves that we have to begin. And it is always with ourselves that we have to end. I want to know what it's like to live love without end. Let me love, 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 love the way you do. Thank you, and namaste.